Good morning and welcome to ABC in the Morning Live here on ABC News GH. It's a brand new weekend. Kickstart this week. Today is the 15th day of December 2025. We have done 15 days. Very, very beautiful, very interesting. Yesterday, someone was like, they just can't believe that we're already in December. They think the year has gone so fast, and I laughed because yes, sometimes you make your plans and you think that you have time, and the next thing that you know, the time is running out. But that also does not mean that you give up. It does not mean you give up. All you need to do is to continue having faith and hope and working hard towards your goals. Hard work is a very important commodity when it comes to achieving our success. And so we'll continue to work hard. I hope your weekend was great. I hope you got to spend the time with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones. I hope you got the time to do the things that you could not do within the week. We have entered into another week. And so slowly, wow, by next week we would have now entered into the Christmas season. I know people have already started going on leave just to celebrate the Christmas. They started going for all of the concerts happening, all of the fun activities happening, because the December period is the period to have fun. Well, if you have started all of that, more power to you. As you get the energy, you are revitalized to have all of the fun that is important. But so the reason for this season is love. Okay, love is a very, very important thing, and that's the reason for this season. For Christians, we know that Christmas is when God gave us his son. And so in everything that you're doing, do well to spread love. Do well to share love all over. Okay, so your plans, your actions, everything should be backed by love. And if that is really what is backing all of your plans, you will do well to do right by others. And so it's very important that we become very decent persons even in all of our endeavors. We are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, ABC News GH. Please subscribe to our channel, like our Facebook page, and turn on post notification for both pages. You can also interact with us via our socials at ABC News GH _ at ABC News GH _ If you're on your way to work, have a very safe trip as you go to work. Today we have a lot for you here on ABC in the morning. On our front story, we take a look at romance scams. I'm sure that for a while now, if you're a young adult like myself, while I was growing up, you heard so many times, oh, this person is a fraud person. They are chatting a client. They are chatting a client. They are chatting a client. And you wondered, what's the meaning of chatting clients? One of the things that it's a lingua that has now become a part of our society to some extent. And so today on Front Story, we'll look at romance scams, whether it has now become something that is synonymous with Ghana. We'll look at that conversation on our Front Story. And on our main discussion today, Matthew Nyindam, who up until his seat was declared vacant in Parliament, was the MP for Pandai, has sued the Clerk of Parliament for contempt of court. This is all part of the conversations around the Pandai parliamentary seat. Tamale High Court ruled that there be a rerun of elections in Pandai. So at the moment, the seat in Parliament has been declared vacant. We're all looking forward to 30th of December 2025 when the election will be conducted. That's about 15 days from today. But we also understand that Matthew Nyindam, who is at the center of this whole brouhaha, has sent the matter to the Supreme Court. Now the latest is that the Clerk of Parliament has also been sued for contempt of court. And so we'll look at that conversation here. We also understand that the minority is calling for the removal of the majority leader and the majority chief whip. Over the past week, their names were very much in the news because they said that they were going to move a private member's bill for the scrapping or the repeal of the act that set up the office of the special prosecutor. President Mahama wrote a letter requesting that these MPs do not go ahead with their planned action on the removal of the OSP. They listened to the president, and so they are not doing that again. But minority has concerns about the conduct of the majority leader and the majority chief whip, Mahama Yarga. and Roxanne Nelson Dafiameto, respectively. And so we'll look at conversations around that today too on ABC in the morning. We'll bring you the latest in the world of sports. It's been a weekend. We are coming back from a weekend, and so much has happened over the weekend. The sports team will be here to bring us the latest in the world of sports. We'll also bring you Happy Hour, where you get the opportunity to send your best wishes to your friends, your loved ones, to your family. And so you can get into our DMs and send us that message and their picture, and we will do also celebrate them on your behalf. And today, being a Monday, we will bring you Community Watch. We enter into your community and report on matters that are very important, that need the attention of duty bearers so that they can solve these matters for you. And so that's what we have for you here on ABC in the morning with me, ABENA Mante. I thank you so much that this morning too you have tuned in and joined me here on the show. After this very short break, we will bring you our front story. Do stay tuned.
To do my wade jollof.
Oh, Kwame. You know our secret, right?
Yeah.
Efia.
Yes, me. I've got it.
Now add your Gino jollof mix.
The perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time. And there you have it, your original Ghana jollof.
Jollof so good.
Jollof so cool. Tasty, yeah.
What is going on here?
Enjoy jollof the Ghana way. Gino jollof is made with the perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time.
This advert is FDA approved.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to ABC in the morning. Today we have a conversation on our front story about cybercrime in the country. If you took about 10 people, and this is very rough statistics, it's not anything really grounded in theory. If you took 10 people, I'm sure about 7 people have heard people talk about chatting clients. My blog has landed. Very, very interesting lingua within a certain space. You go on social media, especially on Snapchat, and people are really flaunting some really hard cash, flaunting some wild accessories and stuff. And it raises the eyebrow. It raises a lot of questions about where they are getting their monies from, where their source is. And so you find parents advising their children not to go into fraud, not to try romance scams and all. But it seems to perpetuate a lot. I surf social media a lot, and so I go on social media, especially on X, and you'd find conversations around these. How people are mad that people involved in fraud are making life difficult for people who are making legitimate money. And you ask, how are they making life difficult? Over the past week, all over the news, a gentleman was arrested. He's popularly known as Abu Trika. He was arrested for his involvement in romance scams. He was not the only one who was arrested. 2 other colleagues were also arrested. Following that, we understand another person has also been arrested. All of these around romance scams and in a broader sense, cyber crime. And so if you followed all of these conversations and they tell you, oh, the hub for cyber crime is in Swedru, you ask yourself, why do we have a cyber crime hub in the country? And what direction are we moving as a people? What gap is there for which we are seeing this perpetuation? Or are we blowing things out of proportion? Let's have some conversation. Hafiz Toyibis, the country director for the African Center for Digital Transformation. He joins us. Good morning, Hafiz, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. Good morning to you yourself and your listeners. I'm under the weather a bit, so forgive my voice and my intonation, but yeah,
we appreciate that. We understand the weather. We appreciate you for speaking with us this morning, Toyib. First off, would you say that Ghana has become a hub for cybercrime?
Well, when it comes to cybercrime, I wouldn't, given Ghana's position in internet penetration and all these things, I would say that a lot of people find Ghana to be a place to come and deal in cyber criminality. I wouldn't put it out that Ghana is a hub for everyone, but over the years, it seems like Ghana has become a place where we are seeing more cyber criminals, come out in the news. We have seen a lot of people being arrested or being pinned down by agencies from Ghana. It doesn't necessarily mean that Ghana is the hub, but it means that we are doing so many things in country to ensure that there is no place for people like this, and that's why you're always seeing the information out there. But yeah, Ghana's internet penetration, which is about 70 to 80%, could also be a factor. These cyber crimes, it works with internet and all these things. And if you check in, especially West Africa, we have more internet penetration than most other the countries in West Africa. So yeah, people come to Ghana to do these kind of criminal activities. But I don't think that means that we are the hub for these activities.
Okay, you talk about internet penetration and how Ghana has a broader reach than the rest of West Africa. And so if we have a broader reach and we are seeing the system or the land as fertile enough for people to engage in it, where is the issue? Where is the issue emanating from, for which we are seeing all of these numbers?
All right. So, as I was saying, just about last week, we had about the Cyber Security Authority in conjunction with certain institutions of the country raid a place in Kaswa where they caught 32 people. Now, these 32 people were mostly Nigerian nationals. This means that because we have a high internet penetration in this country, we have people fleeing from other places to engage in these activities in this country. So it's because we have put systems, because we have the right infrastructure, we're having foreign nationals, people coming from different countries to come and perpetrate in these activities in our country. Now, another thing that we have to notice that Sakawa, as people is an existential problem. It's an existential crisis in this country, just as Galamsey and all the other existential crises that are born out of unemployment. Now, this cyber criminal activities or these love scams and all these things, I think they've taken a step further because people who engage in these activities tend to show off luxurious lifestyles that the ordinary Ghanaian who is working 9 to 5 will not be able to attain such things. Right. So it becomes very difficult talking people out of getting into these activities, and hence it's becoming an existential crisis. So I would say that even if the government was doing more on employment and all these things, we will still have traits of these things lurking around in our country. So I believe that what we are seeing right now is a step in the right direction, a rigorous attack to show that there is no place for such activities in our community or in our environment, or Ghana does not condone the youth of the country being associated with such activities. I think it is a very good way in order to make sure that we level down these things, or it doesn't become a crisis to a point where we cannot contain it anymore. So we having a high internet penetration gives people the affinity to come and practice these activities in Ghana. But I think we as a country need to also put in rigorous enforcement policies or steps to make sure that people realize that we don't condone or we don't have room for these activities in this country.
Well, you talk about unemployment and its effect, for which we are seeing all of these actions. Now we'll come back and look at this unemployment situation. But let's look at Ghana's image on the international scale. We see our institutions doing their best to crack down on these activities, but this perpetuation of cybercrime, how does it place us on the international level?
All right, so I think internationally, it might look like we're having a lot of scammers coming from Ghana, or a lot of people who engage in these activities coming from Ghana. But then again, I think the fact that the government is taking proactive steps, the government is willing to collaborate with international organizations like the Interpol, the FBI, and all institutions that are interested in putting a stop to these things. The government's willingness and proactive steps to collaborate with these institutions, it puts out a good image that we are fiercely combating this crisis. We are not leaving any stone unturned. Okay. This gives some confidence to the international community that, because when it comes to these scams, it's not just Ghana that we have these. We have them in numerous countries. But over the last few months, you've seen a rigorous approach in dealing with these matters. Any narrative that comes out, you realize that it is the government or the institutions of the country that have that are in cahoots with other institutions to ensure that these people are brought down. So I think the narrative that goes out is a good one. It doesn't necessarily mean that Ghana is having a bad image. I think that we are controlling the narrative. We are letting people know that we are aware of this problem, and then we are willing to collaborate with any agency or any institution that is out there that's also in tandem with our objectives or our. So yes, I think the global outlook is not bad, given the fact that we are controlling the narrative.
We are controlling the narrative. Now let's look at turning our troubles into work. There are no jobs, like you mentioned. The unemployment rate is quite high, but these are persons who have gotten a laptop or a phone, access to internet, and have decided to delve into cybercrime. In dealing with this menace, for those who believe that everybody can be rehabilitated, how do we turn the situation around for our good, especially for the good of the young people who find themselves in this situation? They have the skills, the IT skills and all. What could we do? How do we find the lemonade in the lemon?
All right, so I think two things. First and foremost, like I was saying, we as a people need to make people who engage in these activities understand that our communities do not accept these lifestyles.
Right.
Because if you say that it's just a matter of unemployment, people who are engaged in these activities, even when offered jobs, would not accept because of the kind of revenue they make or the kind of benefits they make from these things. So it's not just about the unemployment; it goes beyond that. It's about the person wanting a lifestyle that he or she has not worked for, or he or she cannot be able to attain within the period that he wants. So it goes beyond just the unemployment problem that we have. So we need to let them understand that we as a community, we don't have a place for such activities. So processes or steps that the government is taking, like making sure that we are joining forces, we are having collaborators, we are aligning with the FBI, we are supporting the Interpol, we are making sure that anybody who comes and is willing to help, we would collaborate with them and get these people. It's a good step. It's one of the effective ways of clamping down this menace, because it puts fear in everyone who is trying to engage in these things. Putting fear in everyone who is trying to engage these things will solve the problem faster or better than trying to provide or trying to say that, okay, we need to provide employment and all these things. So I think we need to let them understand that the country is going to do everything within its power to make sure that if you are engaged in such activity, you will be tracked down, you will be caught, you will be exposed, and you will face the full wrath of the law. Now, the second thing is, I think I've spoken about this on this particular platform before, the 1 million coders program. I think the objective, or what the 1 million coders program could have achieved, I think it is being undermined in a way.
Okay.
The 1 million coding program could have been used or can be used as a tool to export talent, especially technical talent, from this country to other places. That could be a value addition for Ghana. We could have this program to rigorously train IT people who are tech inclined, to hone skills, and then the country could export them to Fortune 500 companies or to other countries. So we need to strengthen the program. That is a fine policy that could, like you're saying, people who engage in these activities somewhat technically inclined. We could have this program, enroll them on it, train them to have the best of the skills that they can, and then export these talents. It could be a very good tool for the country and also for the individuals who go through this program. So like I said, two things. First is making sure that people understand that if you engage in this activity, you will definitely be caught. You have a lifespan. You have a lifespan, and when the time is up, the law would catch up to you. And then secondly, we could refine the 1 million coding program. We could have policies like that, which will make people who are passionate about IT and all these things, refine their skills, hone their skills, and then be able to export it to other countries as a value addition to the country and to the individuals themselves. That's what we at the center have been. The Africa Center for Digital Transformation, we've been advocating for this, and even we've mentioned it on this platform before. We think that the 1 million coding program should be able to meet that pedestal as Andela and other training boot camps have met in other countries.
Well, you have talked about the punishment part of it, but we also know that when it comes to issues of crime, it takes a very long while to deal with, but the ripple effect is there. Let's look at dealing with this matter at the very budding stage. There are some communities that now have become known for cybercrime. You talk about romance camps and they tell you that, oh, Swedro is the place. And so there'll be a little boy, a little girl growing up at about 6 years old, and this is the first thing they are introduced to. How do we turn things around for children like that? Introduce them to the ethical side of IT, the ethical side of technology, rather than this very adverse form?
All right, so I think it comes back to the answer that I provided earlier. It's about the indoctrination. Now, this person who is coming from this rural area like Swedru and is being exposed to these activities, he doesn't go into it because he thinks it's fun. No, he goes into it because he thinks he will be successful out of a program like that. And he's not wrong, because he has someone he looks up to. He has someone who has gone through the program and has become very successful. So the only way to let that person know that no matter how successful that activity or that program is not worth it, is letting the person know that it has a lifespan. It doesn't stand the test of time. That no matter how good he becomes in it, he would definitely be caught by the law. Because there's no way that you can have a 9-to-5 job presented to that person and that person will accept it, given the exposure that person has. So the person is not, like I said, the person is not joining these activities because he finds it nice or because he thinks it's a good thing, but it's because he has it's a tried and tested approach to success. And for someone like that, for a kid who comes up with such indoctrination, you need to let the person understand that actions have consequences.
Okay.
You need to you don't only have to let the person, you need to show it. So these activities that have been going on for the past months in this country is a step in the right direction. It's the kind of confidence that the government needs to put in the people that legitimate work is the only thing that is the only real work that you can do.
Okay.
That any other activity or any other thing that you are introduced to, it doesn't stand the test of time. It has a lifespan, and when it gets to your time, you will face the full wrath of the law, and everything that you have worked hard for will become in vain. That is the first step to allow to discontinue such a concept, and then you go on to roll out programs that has actual benefit at the end of the day. If we allow the 1 million coding program to become another training program or another program that gives them certifications, then it's just another off-the-shelf policy. It's not something created to actually empower people, because the person will just like the person signing up to any other online course or anything. The 1 million coding program has to be a policy that should churn out geniuses, that should come up with technical people who can export their talent. So that way you've given them an alternative, a sustainable alternative, something that they can do and will be real, something that doesn't have a lifespan.
All right.
Yes.
Well, Hafiz, please go on and then land on your point.
So I'm just trying to say that it's very important that we take the enforcement part of it very serious. These romance scams and all these other scams and cyber criminals that are going on is an existential crisis. It's a problem, and it's a cancer, because people who come up look up to those who are thriving on it in community, and then they see it as a means to become successful, as a means to escape poverty, as a means to escape unemployment, as a means to escape all their problems. They need to understand that it's not sustainable. And the only way to allow them know that it's not sustainable is by enforcing laws, is by collaborating with agencies who can make sure that all these people are cracked down and they are facing the full wrath of the law. So long as these people are doing that, that young boy in Swedru would know that he has to look for something more permanent. He has to look for something more legal, something more sustainable.
Okay. Hafiz, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate you. And we look forward to speaking more on matters around our cybersecurity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Hafiz Toyib is the Country Director for the African Center for Digital Transformation. That's all for our front story this morning. When we return, we will bring you Community Watch. Stay with us.
rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Markion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenini na da da da. So pa mediane no abe.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
This week's been wild. New releases dropping, artists blowing up, moments going crazy on the timeline. Don't worry, we've got you.
We pull the highlights, the dates, the event, everything you need to know, and then the real fun starts.
The official top 10 songs running the streets, the airwaves, and your playlists.
If the culture is talking about it, we are counting it down.
This is the rundown.
Hey, welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning. We take you back on Community Watch to the Ashaiman Underbridge at J. Kojo Road that has been a source of worry to the people who live along that route, who ply that route, traders who sell along the route. Khadija Isifu brought us this report.
Welcome to another episode of Community Watch on ABC News Ghana Television. I am Khadija Isifu. Today, we turn our lenses on the Sun City Ajay Kojo stretch from the Ashaiman Underbridge in the Tema West Municipal Assembly. Join us as we hear from commuters, commercial drivers and Okada riders as they uncover their urgent needs that has to be addressed by the authorities. Beneath the Ashaiman Underbridge lies a road with a long and troubled history, a stretch that connects thousands of commuters from Ashaiman and from the Ashaiman Underbridge to Ajaikojo, yet one that has remained a daily struggle for residents and motorists for decades. Despite promises made by authorities to fix the road, it continues to be a source of frustration, with previous construction efforts being short-lived. When it rains, the road disappears under murky water. When it dries, clouds of dust rise like smoke, choking commuters. Drivers and traders say each day they risk their health. While some of the drivers and commercial motor riders complained of joint pains because of the bumpy nature of the road, some of the traders complained about respiratory illness due to the dust they inhale daily.
Oh, hi, and the brain. Even so, we say me driver crampo na miss pass na the car ni say ma make shop no na dia. Even yeah pomudin kra na high because ye gina high we hu cars na twam no the dust brain. Dust no so ekoyemu so e ma yare. Sempanifo de nti omitumi ha so panifo so tete ha bia ye to eduro ye honam dia ye ntimi kasabio obi asore a no se ni sisi ni body nti eduro dia pharmacy fo no kura sisi a omo ho wo beto eduro kura no sese ade wo ye okada na nti yesra abai onhwe so na
ntimi ko du fia ntimi bo se meyi frames sa na miti me manum so mi ponti ntemuti mini omo ane wa ha be wanu muso muti na makoto edramu nti mu boye bre wa ha
guys had even last almost 2 weeks in the krampo no intimi nya adwuma me ba me daka musa ko futuru no ekum ye intimi nya adwuma intimi daka musa me no kasisi afi na ma ba se mba be ye adwuma kakra.
Always headache because the dust it have been affecting us a lot.
Maya yare bebre mi ba ha na enye say na me voice there e na enye say na me kasa sisi afutro na wura ye musa ya totonro sa ya bre amaya yare ukwa check up ya si typhoid eni yare wa bebre futro ni de ha ye ekuye na nso ye ni baby konti amaya timi ye da won tin futro ni
enu kranya mi eni ufa we ya ubebia be ye we ya ubebia be ye because yes bang see ya will be there, but mostly your waist and your back pains no there or your spinal cord here mostly no ono na the most affected part wutina moto no so na ufa rob so eno na ya dia ete affect here
be ya juma you na scan na o da go to edru this guy na go to edru je o be coffee kula e bi kan because e kwanu ye e juma so ba.
Beyond the inconvenience, the economic toll is heavy. Frequent breakdowns mean high maintenance costs. Drivers and Okada riders shared how they spend more time at mechanic shops than on the road. And as family heads with responsibilities, many say they are sometimes forced to increase their fares just to keep up with the rising maintenance costs and still support their household.
Who call shop in there? A channel house and shop. Oh, who call shop in there? Who shops best say?
At all the times, can I ever near their call shop? Until ama a hunter cry a wofie. Opie anapa a bedjuma, want me you chop money. Chop money now, be you know, who feel like Mimoto no crying until me discover we a fear.
And then I no case me buy a cry, me shaft a cook, I could our quine so because of quinity. Ti wo fa load kakra bia niam kakra bia de esa wo gibe 20 series no esa wo chi nipa no more than that esa no no mo so mo complain because ya onimsade no enso sabat wo su fi se kwan be ha unti wo charge more than that inye sans na isan ke ba no
from Aha to Santo e kwan nye enti sometimes kwa skabia ensesa woji nipa na osene okurapo wo fa okurapo no se woji enti san enti saban to bet me aba abehwe na wa ye aman dia because yesu ye ka aba ye fa ye ka market hu na market no e koso
ana kura ne ye kwan nye ama ya bre o to ma se nkrampo a endu wan ya na ma se so se nyina access
ye kwan no tanu nye nti ese ye machines no pass no boy di this bobi wo betuma dia boy dia.
I go maintenance shop 2 times because of the route is no good too. They give me waist pains.
Breakdowns are constant, accidents are frequent, and for many drivers and Okada riders, their livelihoods continue to slip away with every pothole.
Bia kwani nye mame ndoji se ansa na oba for hono na kaswa aswevi afa hono mu nti saa no emeya accident wa ha ye de bia ye ni trotro drivers ye ku e wa ha se accident de tasipa even enira ya accident ase ha enam saa kwanu nye no nti
this speed is an omu bedu ha se omu refi se aha no e rough road enra pra ka kitikiti accident se wa ha se nti odu ha obechi break na ni refi ni na obe hu anaka na ti free last year say microphone bebre wa ha se.
You be going, you see somebody in front of you, you want to dodge. Maybe somebody is on your back coming. That time you realize they come and crash you.
The economy of this corridor continues to suffer. From food vendors to shop owners, business operators say the poor road condition is slowly crushing their survival as customers avoid the area and sales decline.
A customer came here to buy. Because of the dust, it have been worrying them, so they have to move to other place to buy. So it have been worrying us.
Private car for ya omuba ha be di dwama no na nse omu se ye kwan ne nyenti omu ma abium. Omu twemu a aida so omu kotema na so omu kwa akra. Enti no ye de ye ni tutu ye na ye hu se aban fufure beba no ye de ye rehye no mu se bia nka oba obeba be boa ye no abaye kwan na ma ye.
Ha dream bebre ebi wa obi person di wa o si dust na mini na akasa so enye hwe nti obi open no we di wa obi on pen no si chichiri mam na me mfa nko nti ya ha asitrani de ede
nso ni tona se ekwan ni ye pachapacha de ankofo amba nti da de edwa no eya ekofom edwa no kofom.
Day after day, the suffering deepens. Commuters stranded, cars breaking down, drivers losing money, vendors losing customers. And as the dust blinds and the mud traps, one message echoes across the Sun City Ejoikojo stretch. Authorities must act now before this road becomes a full-blown disaster.
Problem kasapa ya kwan no, kwan ne de. So the
road there, they have to come and do it for us because always we have been paying tax. So they have to come and do it for us.
Nyankopon ya adum na ekwan ne emra so ekwan ne ba so na ye yi a ya yeti kwan no so no enye ye pe si yeti kwan no me gidi se omo ye kwan ne wi a ye be pe da brama ye ne enso yakɔhye ho ne aton ade no cars be ba bebra beto ade ama ye yenso ye mpa ibo ne se kwan no be ya ama ye.
There were problems because of a coin. Yes, penny for some woman may be being a mine.
Got you, Mr. Amu, mobile by a coin my because coin a kuya pa ya Maya yet me that until yes, mobile a coin my.
No, there no crepa, say, bet me up a my the bad boy papa because that's no crap on a kuya crap with your body. Once a matter, if you see. Emuka kene me call you store ema obi ko fam obi won se atale yafi ayeti se maybe me adwuma bia fita na pa besu by this time but say that's na ekwan ni that's na enti aban ni de yesro omu so omu hwe no omu yema enuti na eto aba ma omu
bet ma asra aban ni se ya pa cho
onhwe saa kwa na emaye na ya adwuma no so oma onhwe ya adwuma so emaye na bibia betima yeso ye betima anya kakra so adi e betima anya kakra so emaye papa no ye maame so
that they so construct the roof for us.
Adisade ni adisade driver nyina ye wo Ajakojo kanewu anytime west the this stress the sempinfo any road minister any honorable James enu ye nyina ye ka bom e ya adwen ba akotoma no tema west drivers nti yesre no so ombo modin ya se de bohye no no a e di hye ya yeso yegina so to abaman no onfa sa bohye na no mbo an okwan ni so na ye sa de a ye bre because ya adwen posan ka ye be ko demonstration asikwan ye nya adwuma but ye sha said the passengers so be kire omunti no ye ni na to na ye so ye nam so ye adwuma ye sre na ni die mu road minister ene honorable James enu onka bi maye na mombo an e wo kwan ni so ye bre pa.
In the end, the Sun City Ajakojo stretch is more than a bad road. It is a daily test of resilience, health, and survival. But the people have spoken. Their message is clear. Their plea is urgent. Fix this road.
Dust has become synonymous to the Sun City Ajakojo stretch in the Tema West Municipal Assembly. And as we wrap up on today's episode of Community Watch, the people of Sun City and Ajakojo are saying that until this road is fixed, the ride on the stretch remains a reminder of unfulfilled promises. Your community could be next. Keep watching Community Watch on ABC News Ghana Television. I am Khadija Isiku.
So that is the sorry state of the Sun City Ajakojo Road. We'll keep throwing light on the issues within our communities on Community Watch so that duty bearers can attend to the situation swiftly. Thank you to Khadija Isifu for bringing us that report. We'll take a break. When we return, we begin with our main discussion. Stay with us.
So you be tumpon ne gina advert. Let's why so be advert no you tumpon na kwara nim dia.
Do you need a media house to shoot quality TV ad for your company or products? Bring your company's vision to life.
And me come from media house we am potential films. So you sha, so you so don't worry. So you tumpon e cost you through advert dia contact woman.
We help businesses build their brands.
You kreni omodwuma hote omo quality can me so many twa.
Reach their target audience and ultimately drive sales and revenue growth.
You may be new. Omojuma is perfect. O contact no be good script about your product. Sound, jet. They will give you quality pictures. How do you see it? How do you feel it? Wow. So picture unya na no makasa. First number way 0541 16 28 28. I'm repeating 0541 16 28 28. Call them. Number one,
Potential Films. We believe in quality.
Playing for your country, enye easy. Scoring, enye easy. Winning, enye easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Oh, if you're right, if you're right. Hey, no, if you're right. Mama, make a commit ya. Rent back with the beer open. Come on, come see you. With this guy. My friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is campaign? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto chiaka. Inti ene, uno banu mpe baby amobeda. Oh, no abeka. You did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Hey, so mommy, who is going to do my day jollof?
Oh, Kwame, you know our secret, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, me. I've got it.
Chino jollof mix.
The perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time. And there you have it, your original Ghana jollof.
Jollof so good.
Jollof so good. Tasty, yeah.
What is going on here?
Enjoy jollof the Ghana way. Gino jollof is made with the perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to ABC in the morning. It's time for our main discussion this morning. We're taking a look at Parliament. On the Pandai parliamentary rerun, the MP who was occupying the seats before the seat was declared vacant, Matthew Nyindam, has sued the Clerk of Parliament for contempt of court. His reason is that the Clerk of Parliament was aware that there was a pending appeal filed in court against the decision made by the Tamale High Court on declaring the Pandai seat vacant. And so for the Clerk of Parliament, Mr. Dietro, to go ahead and write to the EC that the seat was vacant, and so the election be rerun, the clerk was in contempt of court. And so this is the latest in the matter. Matthew Nyindam has sued Ebenezer Dietro, the Clerk of Parliament. Again, we'll look at Parliament, where minority is demanding the resignation of both the majority leader, Mahama Yarga, and the majority chief whip, Roxanne Nelson Dafiameto. Their reason for demanding these resignations are over the OSP repeal bill. You'll recall that the majority leader had spoken on this matter that they would be sponsoring a private member's bill for the repeal of the act that set up the OSP. Well, let's have some conversations. Joining us this morning, lawyer Kwame Adofo. He is a constitutional lawyer. We'll also be joined by Clement Akolo, Communications Director for Parliamentary Network Africa, and George AC, a member of the NPP's communications team. But at the moment, we have lawyer Kwame Adofo joining us. Good morning, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
There's been a lot of conversation around this Pandai seat. Some believe that the Clerk of Parliament did what he had to do. There are others who also believe that since this matter was still in court, pending in court, Parliament should have seen the matter through before making any determination on the seat, such that the clerk wrote to EC for a rerun, for the conduct of a rerun of the elections. The latest is that Matthew Nyindam, who up until recently was the MP for the area, is suing the Clerk of Parliament. He says that the Clerk of Parliament was notified that this matter was pending appeal. Counsel, really, why are we seeing the Clerk of Parliament in the middle of this matter when he only did the job that he had to do?
Well, look, let me start from the bottom and then come back to the top. From my understanding of what has happened, the court, the High Court, after its judgment, there was an appeal of that judgment to the Court of Appeal. Additionally, there was application for stay of execution of that judgment. In addition to that, there was also an application, which is in the form of a motion, to the Supreme Court, seeking to quash the judgment of the High Court. All the suits and applications were, from my understanding of what I've heard so far, is that they were all served on Parliament. Now, when a process from a court has been served on Parliament, or on anybody, or on a body, the law is that you hold off with whatever you want to do until the court has had an opportunity to pronounce on it. Until that time, you are not supposed to do anything. From the narration that or from the background I've just given you, it means that when the clerk was served with a copy of the certiorari application, as well as the High Court appeal and the application for stay, he ought to have stayed his hand and did not or was not required to write a letter to the EC. The moment you write a letter in the circumstances where the judgment itself is under appeal, it means you've truncated the court processes. You have not allowed the court to do its work, and that is potentially contempt. Now, the current application before the Supreme Court is a contempt application against the Clerk of Parliament. So that explains why Martin Ninda, or the MP for Pandai, is now in court seeking to get the Clerk of Parliament convicted for contempt of court. So the difference is that the current application against the Clerk of Parliament is one of contempt, meaning you have not shown respect to the court or the processes from the court, and therefore you should be convicted. That is the difference between the current application and the other applications.
Well, but some would say that the clerk is acting on orders of the House and by extension the Speaker of Parliament. Why do we place him at the center of this matter? Is it because he wrote the letter?
Well, look, that is a matter for the clerk to file his defense or affidavit in opposition and explain the circumstances under which he wrote the letter. He may well come out with a defense that, look, I was just acting on instructions of the Speaker and no more. Maybe he may well come out with that defense. If that is to happen, then it will be up to the Supreme Court whether he is somebody that they should convict, or if there's somebody else. We've got something called chain of command. You cannot say I'm acting on instructions alone, so the whole chain of command may be, whether the whole chain of command may be brought in, that is another matter. But the whole point is, as far as you, the applicant is concerned, you do not create a defense for somebody you are intending or seeking to convict. So you just cite them for contempt. It is up to the person to come out with a defense. In this case, the Clerk of Parliament will have to come up with his own defense. And that defense may well be to say, look, he was just acting on instructions from the Speaker.
Well, there are concerns about the way this matter has been held. There's a section of the public that believes that this is a personal attack on the person of Matthew Nyindam. Others believe that this is just testing our laws to see how strong it is. On matters of the declaration of seats vacant and all of the brouhaha that has come up from this matter, who has the powers to make certain determinations for us to really much have some concrete understanding to it?
The High Court. The High Court has the power given to it by the Constitution. Absolutely, no doubt about that. But where the High Court makes a decision, and that decision, that decision is the subject of an appeal, you cannot execute that judgment of the High Court until the appeal has been exhausted. That is the laid down rule. And it's been followed in all cases that has happened in relation to parliamentarians, except this one.
But my concern here is that in all of this conversation, one of the comments that comes from the NDC side for this issue is that if Clark had not gone ahead to write to the EC, Clark would rather have been in contempt of the High Court. This is where the charges.
Well, look. At the moment, you can argue, or one can argue, that the clerk is caught between the rock and the hard place. Either way, there would have been an attempt to get him in trouble because the two sides are all fighting. But the point is, you look at the law and the rule and practice, custom, everything. And the law or the rule of custom is that when a High Court makes an application or makes a judgment, and you disagree with that judgment, you appeal it. And we all understand that the law is that mere filing the appeal does not stay the judgment. True. So you go further and file an application for stay. So whilst that application for stay is pending and is served, you don't take any action. So those arguing that if he had not done what he did, he would have himself been cited for contempt. They are wrong, because once you show them that you have been served with a certain process from the court, and therefore that constrains you from going ahead, or that restrains you from going ahead in going to write to the Electoral Commission, that will be a complete defense. So they are just wrong. Either they are being political, or they don't understand how the legal system works. As far as the legal system is concerned, the moment you've been served with a process from the court, even if you believe that it's a frivolous document or process, the trite position of the law is that you have to hold off your hand in anything you are seeking to do until the court itself has heard the case.
Okay.
In this case, if I were to be the lawyer for the clerk, my advice would have been that, look, once you've been served with the process from the court, hold off until the court makes a decision. That, I believe, is the correct way to go.
Okay. Well, also joining us on the line at the moment is George A.C., a communications team member for the NPP. Oh, I understand we have lost him. Let me continue the conversation with lawyer Kwame Adolfo. Lawyer Adolfo, let me take you away from Matthew Nyindam's conversation for just a while and look at minorities' demand that the majority leader and the chief whip resign. First off, even before the resignation, majority leader and chief whip said that they were going to move a private member's bill for the repeal of the act that establishes the office of the special prosecutor. President Mahama request of them to rescind the decision, and then they also go ahead and rescind it. It raises concerns about the separation of powers as we know it. Is this in any way an interference of the executive in the legislature?
Look, my personal view is different. I disagree with those who say or who argues that it is an interference. No, it's just an appeal that the president makes. Often they do talk with the legislators anyway. So if a president makes an appeal, or if an individual or a lobbyist make an appeal to a parliamentarian, and the parliamentarian say, look, I've changed my mind, how is that interference? I personally do not agree with those who argue that it is an interference. No, because it's not as if he uses force to compel them to stop. No, he uses his own persuasive skill and say, look, I'm going to talk to them for them to change their mind. And they have not come out to say that the president forced them or compelled them to withdraw the bill. So I disagree with those who argue that that is an interference of parliamentary process. No, I don't agree with them.
But in this matter, if the majority leader and the majority chief whip saw the need for this OSP's office to be abolished, why will then an appeal have so much credence or have impress on them so much so that they withdraw this private member's bill? Aren't they rather doing a disservice to the people that they seek to represent?
Look, I don't know the answer to the question because I am not in the heads of the majority leader and the chief whip. I'm not in their heads. They have been persuaded by the president. So I cannot say because they change their mind, they are doing a disservice to the country. I don't think so. It's up to them. It's up to them. If they form the view that after considering or reconsidering their position, they've changed their mind, so be it. Look, previously, I was of the same position that the office be abolished. But on reflection, I changed my position and said, look, if you abolish the office, what then do you replace it with? So I moved away from the column of those who were arguing that the office be abolished to now a new column saying that let's keep it. But let's refine it, let's reform it. Let's reform it. All the areas that are being a disadvantage to the office being able to operate properly, let's fix it. So I don't agree that the mere reconsideration of your position amounts to anything other than a bona fide intention. So my position is that if they have reconsidered their position and they form the view that this is the correct position for them to move, well, let's just move on.
But this office has come under scrutiny for the past few weeks. There are many who call for the removal, many who say that the office must be there, but it is the personality that heads it that should go. With this OSP that has been established to deal with corruption to the latter, Lawyer Kwamerofo, do you have any hopes for the office that it will be able to do the work that it has been mandated to?
Well, look, it's a bit too pessimistic to say that I have no hope, because there may well be a different occupant who will be able to make it efficient enough to work. But at the moment, I'm not really satisfied with the OSP currently constituted. I don't have any faith and hope in him. It would take a miracle for me to change my mind on him because of what he has done in the past. But that is not to say that because of that, we should collapse the office entirely. No, I don't agree.
Okay.
There may well be a new leader at some point, either now in the future, who will be able to let us all have confidence in the office.
And that is one of the things that takes the head start in all of the conversation about the OSP, the need for a new leader. We understand petitions have been sent to President Mahama for the removal. In that realm, or in that chance that some merit is found in these petitions, it happens that a new leader must lead the office of the special prosecutor. What should be the salient things that we expect the office to embody, so much so that the people have confidence in the execution of the office?
Well, look, the next leader must be very honest to the people of Ghana. If the answer is red, it's red. If it's not blue, it's not blue. The current one hasn't been so candid to the people of Ghana. There are several instances that he has given inconsistent statements to the people, and in my view, that in itself is even wrong. For example, you say you don't have a mandate to prosecute money laundering matters in relation to Sisi Adapa case. Then you turn around and you charge MPA, Mustafa Hamid and others with money laundering. How is that possible? Somebody who has told us yesterday you don't have mandate to prosecute money laundering, today is charging somebody with mandate to prosecute money laundering. I mean, you think about it, it just makes no sense. There are other scenarios. You say you saw Ken Ofori-Atta leave this country on or before the 6th of January. Then you turn around on 24th January 2025. You write a letter to Ken Ofori-Atta's house when you know he's not there, inviting him to come for interview. Clearly, you are lying to us. You know he's not in the country, so you say. So on what basis do you write to him in his house when you know he's not there? There are several instances that he's given too many inconsistent answers. It makes it too difficult for you to have faith in somebody like that. And he hasn't come at any instant to come and apologize or correct the information that he puts out. So how then do you continue to have confidence in somebody who has been flip-flopping like that? In my view, he doesn't deserve, he is no longer qualified to be there. But my position still remains that is not to say we should collapse the office. No.
The collapse of the office has been a very strong point for some people who hold the view of it. It brings me to my question about certain offices and the commentary that we run around them. As we are having a constitutional review has happened, we're expecting the report soon so that we can appreciate what the Constitutional Review Committee prefers to the President. How do we protect some of these institutions? How do we strengthen them so that some of the shots that come at the institutions do not weaken them in the eyes of the people, so much so that it is negative perceptions that we carry around of these institutions?
Well, look, I can only say that to make those institutions truly independent, we have to make sure that we look at Article 88 again, to give those institutions independent right to prosecute people. At the moment, Article 88 is absolutely clear that you can't prosecute without the permission of the Attorney General. So it's either the Attorney General himself or he gives you permission to do that. And if you look at the mandate of the OSP in itself, in its act, it also says shall be authorized by the Attorney General. So it means they are not independent. He can file a case today, tomorrow Attorney General can file a null prosecutor to discontinue. And he will be justified to do that because by Article 88, he is the only one that can prosecute in the name of the state. So going forward, maybe they should look at Article 88 again and see if there's a way to come out with something that will give them complete independence or autonomy so that they can operate on their own. That, I believe, will help the office a lot more.
Well, finally, Lawyer Adolfo, I want to move away from the Office of the Special Prosecutor and then come back to the issue of the Pandai parliamentary rerun. EC says 30th of December for the election. Matthew Nyindam is seeking for an appeal. He's also gone to the Supreme Court. In all of these, when Supreme Court sits and makes a determination, how do we see these court processes impacting the date for the rerun or the rerun itself?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I don't know if there's a date given to them. I don't know what is happening.
Well, we understand on 16th, that is tomorrow.
Yes. So I would say let's wait till 16th and see what comes from the Supreme Court. Then I'll know the way forward.
Okay.
And if I'm making projections or predictions, I'll know exactly what will happen.
Okay. Well, we want to see how we can make the murkier waters clearer, because this poses a lot of questions to the regular Ghanaian who may not be able to appreciate so many things happening at the moment. But Lawyer Adolfo, let me hold you for just a moment. Clement Akola, the Communications Director for Parliamentary Network Africa, joins us, and I want to pick his thoughts on some matters. I'll be back, sir. Clement, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Good morning.
Well, now the former MP, if we would call him that, Matthew Nyindam, has filed a contempt case against the Clerk of Parliament. And he mentions that in all of these conversations, it's about leadership, that Speaker take a decision against MPs that misbehave when it comes to matters like this. Clement, you are a parliamentary watcher. You see what's happening in Parliament. What picture is it painting about our 9th Parliament?
All right, thank you very much. We know we have been on this lane before. Parliamentary Network Africa making issues with the way our members of parliament conduct themselves and how our standing orders and our constitution has not been respected the way it's supposed to be respected. And one of it is what is showing up. And not to say that we have concluded on the issues that are going on in the court. Normally, we like to stay away from politics, direct politics, but we try to look at the issues from the constitution point of view, the law point of view, the standing orders point of view, and how to keep our parliamentary image and sanctity together. Now, this particular issue about the clerk and the contempt of court issue, we think that it is a straightforward matter which should not get to the point where our friends have gotten to, because you know it is an order that was coming from the court, and there's a time limit on the order coming from the court. So the clerk and parliament has a role to play, and you know, if they do not play that role, there are consequences for that. It will mean that the court has given an order and you have refused to implement the terms of that order. And that constitutes contempt of court as well. And we expected that members of parliament will protect what belongs to them and not to subject parliament to the whims and caprices of other institutions and make it look like the other institutions can choose to flout the independence of what Parliament is supposed to do, just as the independence of the other institutions are also guaranteed them. So for now, what I would say is we have come to this point because there is no clear-cut consequence so far in the next Parliament that we have seen, where the whip is cracked for everybody to know that this is where you lie and this is what you are supposed to do as a member of Parliament. And you know, when you go to the standing orders, it talks about anything that prevents Parliament from doing its constitutionally mandated role constitutes contempt of Parliament. So some of these things when we do, I'm sure that we are minded by the consequences of it. But we are getting here all the time because that particular consequence or consequences have not been made clear to the people who operate in that arena. And we think that the time has come for that recognition to be made.
In this issue, how could we have seen a solution preferred? Some of these matters, could they not have been solved within Parliament by having some dialogue, consultation? The other time we saw the minority come to Parliament clad in all black, making their statement. It was just a lot happening in Parliament. And the question was, where is the dialogue that we know Parliament to do?
The point is that we have allowed some kind of behavior to fester in Parliament up to this point. And even if they hold dialogue, because I know that before they have any particular sitting of Parliament, they have they go to conclave, they agree on certain things, and if they will have to disagree, they state it there as well and all that. But we allow the partisan nature of the way we do things to affect things that are supposed to be, let's say, national, or things that are clear-cut on the face of the paper, i.e. our constitution and all that. I think that even if we decide to do politics, there are certain areas that we will not go to or not seek to undermine what holds us together. That's the point I want to make. So we are free to do our politics, but most of the time, or some of the time, we see that our members try to blur the issues with political consideration. And at the end of it all, this will come to hurt us as a country that is trying to meander itself through the democratic ways of doing things. And we think that that is problematic, that the partisan considerations are just too much when it comes to dealing with issues on the floor of Parliament. The politics is there, you can play the politics, but when we now try to use that lens for then that is where we think it's problematic.
Okay.
Because you can't be in parliament and do it, because they all have interest. They all have interest, and they must protect that interest. But what we are asking of is that we must do it with keeping us as a nation together, without breaking the walls that keep us together.
Now let's look at the decisions taken by both sides. It seems to suggest that the same collaboration we are talking about earlier, we are not seeing it in Parliament. It seems both sides take entrenched decisions and stand by the entrenched decision. What does this then go to mean for the Ghanaian out there who is represented by the parliamentarians inside? Are they doing the work that they need to do for the Ghanaian people they represent, or it is really more about the party on whose back they rode into Parliament? Hello, Clement. Did you get me, sir?
So this is a debate. Yes, I got you.
Okay.
Yes, I got you. We think that this is a debate that is coming back again, and even in my thesis, in my master's, I broached this subject where I was trying to find out whether the decisions that are taken by members of parliament are informed by the interest of their constituents, and the jury is out there for all of us to come to. And it appears that most of the time in Parliament, the political interest overtakes the national interest or the interest of the citizenry. But so that's where we now have to come in and try to strike a balance. Yes, it is the political parties that take these members to Parliament. So they relied on their vehicle to Parliament. So in some way, somehow, they will influence the kind of decisions they take in Parliament. But that vehicle gets powered by the citizenry, because without the citizenry, the members will not get there in the first place. So we mean that there must be a balance between the interests of the political party and the interests of the people in whose name they are in Parliament, that they are represented. So if you ask me, the balance should tilt more towards the people who vote the people into Parliament. But what we often see is that the political interest overtakes the people's interest. So now it is our work as civil society organizations, the media and all that, to try to bring that balance by raising some of these issues constantly to let the political parties and the members of Parliament know that they have a duty to the citizenry, and sometimes have to balance this thing, so that the continuous acrimony and disregard for rules of conduct and all those things in Parliament will be minimized. We know that off cameras, off the public eye, these members of Parliament that we otherwise see at each other's throat are very good friends. We meet them on the corridors of Parliament all the time. After they have had a heated debate on the floor of Parliament, you just get to the lobby and you see them sitting there, taking tea together, conversing, and all those things outside the cameras. We think that those same understanding that they have outside the cameras should also show on the cameras, so that the people will not think that it is acrimonious all the time, that we can't agree. But sometimes because we want to play politics, we make it look like um, we don't agree with some of the things, and we think that this is the time for us to help them to strike that balance. If we don't say anything about it, if we don't voice it out, if we don't point it out, if we don't let the people know that this is it, they may not change. It will rather get worse. Because from the 8th Parliament to this particular 9th Parliament, we have seen an escalation of things that we do not associate with the Parliament of Ghana, or we don't want to associate with the Parliament of Ghana. But it keeps on going on. And that's why we've been asking that the whip must be cracked so that everybody will know what they are supposed to do and how they are supposed to behave.
Well, Mr. Cole, I hope I got you right. You said the whip system must be scrapped. Is that what you said?
No. I was saying that the whip must be
cracked. Okay. I thought you said the whip system was must be scrapped, because I was going to ask how Parliament will also organize itself when there's no whip system. In any case, let me ask: the whip system and not having a whip system, how would not having that help Parliament if they went that way?
The whip system, some of us have had a problem with it in the past, and we were thinking that the whip system does not allow the member of Parliament to be independent enough to be able to take decisions that would be in favor of his constituents and what have you. But when you also look at it, without the whip system, what will be the interest of the political party as well? So as I said earlier on, there is a need for us to strike a balance between the interests of the political party and then the interests of the citizenry. So it will mean that we need both to be there, so that the political party will also have some way of controlling the people that they take to Parliament. So what it also means is that when we are doing our programming for members of Parliament and all that, and trying to control the system, it means that our reach must also get to the political parties. So the advocacy must also get to the political parties to understand where we want to go, to understand the balance that we want to have, because most of the time they are the agents that put pressure on members of Parliament to do a particular line. So the whip system is there, but we must ensure that how do we balance that system with the situation that has to do with the interests of the citizenry as well.
Okay.
So for now, we will not call for a total scrap of the whip system, but how do we ensure that there is a balance?
How do we ensure that there's a balance? Well, away from that, minority is demanding for the resignation of the majority leader and the minority chief whip, and the majority chief whip, beg your pardon. They said they're going to they're going to sponsor a private members bill. President Mahama request of them to rescind their decision, and they do. Now my minority says that we demand your resignation. Isn't it normal that parliamentarians will take a decision and rescind it?
All right. The minority, they have their right to what they want to call for. We will not say that they don't have that right, but we also want to say that that is uncalled for.
Okay.
For them to demand a resignation from the majority leader and then the majority chief whip. It was a decision that they took to have a private members bill, and we will say that they have been appealed to, And last Friday, when I heard the majority leader, he said that they will consider it. They will consider the appeal that has been made by the president for them to do away with the private members' motion to have the OSP office scrapped. But we have already said, I think, proud to the minority, even raising the issue about the position that was taken by the president, and then the subsequent response by the majority leader. We have said that we didn't think that the president ought to have done what he did. For the optics, it was not good. It was bad for good governance purposes, because even in the situation in our constitution where we have a blurring of the issues of mandate between the executive and the legislative arm, because of what we have spoken about time and over again about the unruly intrusion of the executive into the legislative arm by allowing the president to appoint some of his ministers from parliament, which blurs the role between parliament and the executive. We think that the president ought not to have been seen as reaching or overreaching into parliament and telling what parliamentarians should do, even if they have interest in it. We think that yes, the majority of the members of parliament belongs to the governing party, and even those who are seeking to bring the private members bill belong to the governing party. But you don't issue a public release calling on these members to rescind their decision. We all know your influence and what you can bring to bear on these members of parliament to self-censor. We think that could have been a private issue, an internal issue. You call them to the Flagstaff House or at your party office, and then you speak to them. And then these members, on their own volition, withdraw this particular bill. But to put it in the public domain, you put these members in a fix, and you also put the whole governance situation in a fix. Parliament would have to pander to the whims and caprices of the executive.
But there are those also believe that
was the best.
There are those who believe that the president was right in publicly asking the MPs to withdraw the bill, because if he did not, it would also not send a nice signal out there. The president had already spoken at the matter when the Peace Council visited him or called on him, and he talked about the need for that office. And so the president just publicly requesting from the MPs just going to show the public that I am very much concerned about this office. And so if the optics is not in favor of the MPs, at least it is in favor of the greater good. Don't you think so?
You see, the intention of the president may well be very good, but we are saying that the optics. And we, as parliamentary watchers, we will jealously guard the independence of Parliament. Anything that will make Parliament look like it is an appendage of another institution, we will not support. Because this is what it is looking like. That the president is calling on his people or appealing to them publicly that they should rescind a certain decision that is within their bosom to do. So that optics is not good. The president may be well intentioned, but let's look at it. There are other means of the president showing concern that I am not in favor of what is going on in Parliament? What stops him from going to another forum, or even when he met the Christian Council, another forum, and indicates that there's an action going on in Parliament and I'm not in favor of that? I think that I still stand by my conviction that we need the OSP office to be able to fight corruption and all that. I'm not for that. So that everybody will know where you stand. After all, the executive is different from the legislative arm. So when you state your point clearly and you use the backdoor to speak to these people, and by their own volition, they withdraw the case from Parliament. Nobody can cause these people to move away from their decision. But when you put it in the public domain, that I am appealing to you to be able to do this, you may have communicated your intention of not being for that action that the members of Parliament were going to take. But at the same time, you have also communicated something even bigger, that you control both the Parliament and then the executive, which for governance purposes is not good for the office. And we think that that must not continue, so that we'll keep the sanctity of the legislative arm and keep the sanctity of the executive arm as well as the judiciary arm. It's not for nothing that the separation of powers have been clearly delineated. We have sought to blur that with the hybrid system that we are currently operating, but we should not make it look too obvious that we are not respecting the delineation of the land. Not too long ago, we heard what was said about Parliament, that Parliament is a toothless bulldog, Parliament is powerless, and all those things. We still have some remnants of that understanding or that thing around, but we want to make this institution stronger so that for future purposes we will reap the benefits of having strong institutions to help us go forward in our governance and in our development.
Okay.
And we know that these are the best case scenarios around the world.
In making the institution stronger, then wouldn't you say that the minority has a case when it calls for the resignation of these leaders?
So if you stretch it to the point where you are calling for their resignation, what exactly have they done wrong that you are calling for their resignation? What have they done for deciding that I was going to pursue a course of a private member's motion to do A or B, and I've decided that I was not going to do it anymore? Even those private members' motion never appeared on the other paper, even though it was well advanced at the committee level and all that. It never appeared on the other paper. The admission or the acceptance at the committee level to let it pass has not even been done. But so on what basis are we calling on them to resign? That we thought about something, that we wanted to do something, now we have decided not to do it anymore. Albeit at the request of the president. So why should they resign? You get it? So that's where we are looking at it from. Why should they resign?
Why should they resign? Okay, well, that's an interesting conversation. We're almost about a year into this 9th Parliament, Clement, and in this this 1 year, so much has happened. Parliament has come under strong scrutiny. We move into a new year very soon. As Parliamentary Network Africa, what will be some of the markers you would be expecting to see in the second year of this 9th Parliament to deem them a parliament that is succeeding?
Thank you very much for this particular point. Maybe after the conversation, maybe during the course of the day or the week, I'll be bringing out some small write-up about some of the things that we think the Parliament must do going forward so that we can have the needed consensus building, the needed accepted conduct of members of Parliament going forward. We think that the 9th Parliament was very promising, or is still very promising, because we are just ending the first session, and which means that it is left with 3 more sessions to go. And as you narrated, I think that there has been a lot of contentious situations in this particular first session, and we think we can ease these tensions going forward, so that the real intention of Parliament, the reason why we have Parliament, will be realized. We all know that, yes, there is an interest for both parties. Everybody wants to state their interest and what they think must be the way forward. But at the same time, we think that we have an institution that we must protect, an institution that is the bedrock of this parliamentary democracy, or the democratic dispensation that we are enjoying. We don't want to see it destroyed, especially so when you look at the sub-region in which we are, where the trust in democratic dispensation is fast eroding, and we can attest the fact that all around us there have been coup attempts all around us. So what it means is that it behoves on us as a country that is almost an oasis of peace and democracy, be able to make this democratic dispensation attractive enough for the people to believe in it. So if our actions would erode or seem to erode this particular confidence that people will have in them or in their system, then we are doing ourselves a lot of harm, which we will live to regret some time to come.
Well, Clement, thank you so much. During the day, we obviously and always will be looking forward to the statement you talk about, but we're grateful that you spoke with us this morning. Do enjoy the rest of your day, Clement.
I'm also grateful. Thanks for having me.
Clement Akola is the Communications Director for Parliamentary Network Africa. Earlier, lawyer Kwame Adofo, constitutional lawyer, joined us for this conversation. We're looking at the Pandari run. Matthew Nyindam has sued the Clerk of Parliament for contempt of court, and the minority is also demanding the resignation of both the majority leader and the majority chief whip. That's all for our main discussion this morning on ABC and the Morning. We'll take a break. When we return, we have more on the show. Stay with us.
Rent back with the beer open. Come on, come see what? Where this guy?
My friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Macho, sister Manoko. When is campaign? Sister Manoko. If you're baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto chiaka. Inti ene, uno banu mpe baby amobeda. Oh no abeka. You did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
This week's been wild. New releases dropping, artists blowing up, moments going crazy on the timeline. Don't worry, we've got you.
We pull the highlights, the date, the event, everything you need to know, and then the real fun starts.
The official top 10 songs running the streets, the airwaves, and your playlists.
If the culture is talking about it, we are counting it down.
This is the rundown.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the Talking Point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Markion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC, as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
You're still watching ABC in the morning live here on ABC News GH. Thank you so much for your continued patronage of this morning show. I do not take it for granted at all. I'm so grateful to you. It's time to hear your voice and share your thoughts with us on Ghana Speaks. You can call us on 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Call us and share your thoughts with us on the conversations we are having here on ABC in the morning. Cyber crime is a big worry to us as a nation, a canker that we must deal with. You can share your thoughts with us. Over the past week, some persons were arrested for their involvement in romance camps. You can call us and share your thoughts on this matter. You can also share your thoughts on the Pandai rerun. The latest is that Matthew Nyindam has sued the Clerk of Parliament for contempt of court. And minority is demanding the resignation of Mahama Yariga and Roxy Nelson Dafiametpo over the removal of the OSP bill. They had said they were going to sponsor a private members bill, but rescinded the decision. Minority is demanding their removal. You can call us and share your thoughts with us on all of these matters we have been discussing here on ABC in the morning. You call us on 053 916 1609, 053 916 1609, and share your thoughts. Would love so much to hear what you make of all of these conversations. Would love to hear what you make of these conversations. Call us and also have your say on this segment. 053 916 1609, 053 916 1609. This is a comment coming from Masawood Kumasi Bantama on Facebook. Masawood says the NDC's reset agenda and 24-hour economy promise has been a deceit. Ghanaians have regretted selling their color TV for black and white. For fellow Ghanaians, arise and let's save this country from total collapse. And he adds hashtag Baumiabeba 2028 and sends regards to Honorable Sampai, National First Vice Chairman hopeful, and that is Masawood Kumasi Bantama sending his comment there. You can also send your comment on our stream, Facebook and YouTube, and we'll do well to read that to the hearing of everybody. You can also call and share your thoughts. 053 916 1609, 053 916 1609. Call us and share your thoughts. Would love so much to hear from you, hear what you have to say on all of these conversations. Let's hear what you two have to say. Weigh in on the conversations and let's appreciate where you are coming from with regards to all of the conversations we are having. 053 916 1609, 053 916 1609. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, rather unfortunate, I have lost the caller. Please call back and share your thoughts. I'd love so much to hear what you have to say on the conversation. 053 916 1609, 053 916 1609. Romance Cam, share your thoughts with us on this issue. Is it one that raises a lot of concerns, one that is a cause for worry? The way the security agencies are dealing with the matter, is it one that leaves a lot to be desired? A video surfaced on how the police were interrogating these individuals, and the conversation or the whole issue was that regardless of what the person has done, they must be treated with dignity, and also they have to have their legal representatives before they make comments. So a conversation comes up, and there's so many nuances to it, there's so many angles to the matter that ought to be appreciated. And so that is what we are doing today. Share your thoughts with us on all that has happened. What do you make of the entire process so far? But what does this mean to you in dealing with this menace, in dealing with this canker? 053 916 1609, 053 916 1609. Share your thoughts with us. Let's better appreciate where you're coming from on these matters. Let's appreciate where you're coming from on these matters. Today on Community Watch, we brought to you the Ashaiman Ajay Kojo Road. That is a source of worry to commuters, to those who live along the road. What's happening in your community, and what light do you want to throw on it? Our road network in the country, especially the roads within our communities, they really pose a lot of concerns to us, because you really are going home and you expect to use this is a short road, I should have used this smoothly, but so many bumps on the road, and it really makes life uncomfortable for you when you're plying the road. Well, you share your thoughts with us on some of these conversations. 053 916 1609, 053 916 1609. Let us appreciate your thoughts on all of these matters. Would love so much to appreciate your thoughts on these matters. 053-916-1609. This is Ghana Speaks here on ABC in the morning. Ghana Speaks on ABC in the morning. You share your thoughts with us. We appreciate what you two have to say. You share your thoughts with us and we can appreciate what you have to say. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, we keep losing our callers. Kindly call back again so that we can appreciate your comments. We appreciate that you call. It means that you have something to share with us, and so please call back and let us appreciate your comments. 053-916-1609. This is ABC in the morning. ABC in the morning, live here on ABC News GH. Call us and share your thoughts with us. Am I right? Of conversations we've had today, the cyber security situation in the country, Parliament, with this Pandai parliamentary rerun. The Global Info Analytics has released a polling that they did concerning the rerun. It puts Matthew Nyindam just a few points ahead of Daniel Watau. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from, sir? Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Oh, I've lost to this caller too. Please call back and let's hear what you have to say. I was talking about the Global Info Analytics poll and how it puts Matthew Nyindam just a few points ahead of Daniel Watau. This is going to be a very, very interesting and extremely interesting rerun of election when it happens. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
I'm Raj. I'm from Kasua.
Raj, thank you for calling. Share your thoughts with us.
Okay, you're welcome.
Hello, Raj. Hello.
Yeah.
Is this still Raj or this is another caller? Hello.
This Raj.
Raj, okay, let's hear you. Raj, share your thoughts with us. Yes, I can hear you clearly. Please go ahead and share your thoughts.
So, why wanna they do up like that?
Pardon? Hello? Hello, Raj? Oh, rather unfortunate, we have missed the caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello? We seem to be having some challenges establishing contact with our callers. Really apologize for that. We hope to hear from you so that we can have some conversations. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Call us and share your thoughts with us on this conversation. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, we have lost to this caller too. Some challenges with the network. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes. If you can hear me clearly, kindly turn down the volume of the TV so we can have a very smooth conversation.
Is it? Pardon?
Hello? Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Casey. I'm calling from Nuba.
Okay, let's hear you. Share your thoughts with us.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, we seem to be having challenges with our calls this morning. Really apologize for this situation. We really and sincerely apologize for this situation. 0539161609. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
I'm Godfred and I'm calling from Accra.
Okay, Godfred, thank you for calling. Please share your thoughts with us. Oh, Godfred has dropped the call. Godfred has dropped the call. So many callers, yet we're unable to speak with any of you. I'd really have loved to hear what you have to say on the show this morning. What you have to say on the show this morning. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Are we unable to establish contact with our callers? When you call, kindly turn down the volume of your TV so that we can hear you and you can hear us better. The issue is that when you call us, you want to hear yourself, and so the lagging affects it. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. I understand the caller is still on the call. Godfred, if you can hear me, can you speak up? Well, we have lost Godfred. Well, do I take more calls? Do I try and establish contact and take more calls? 053-916-1609. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Oh, well, that'll be all for Ghana Speaks this morning. We look forward to speaking with you again tomorrow when we come your way with the show. Hopefully, we can have some better connection so that you can also share your thoughts on the conversations we have here on ABC in the morning. After this break, we will bring you the latest in the world of sports. Stay with us.
Without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
Eugene Soti, your chief data guy on the talking point. On the African Tracker, I'll break down the performance of your favorite African players abroad, scrutinizing every detail and exploring the nuances and rules governing the game.
Meet us in your area for Area Take as we plug into sports perspective and hear your thoughts on every play of the game.
I'm James Makion, your go-to expert for everything local. I'll review the fixtures from the locker room to the pitch and from the management to the fans. I've got you covered.
Oh la la! Don't miss out on the double excitement. It's a fun pack, pulsating and complete wrap of everything in sports, from boxing to football, tennis, NBA and more. Sports World on ABC as every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Sports World on ABC. Sports beyond borders.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Rent back with the beer open. Come on, come see you. Wait, this guy. My friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is campaign? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto chiaka. Inti ene, uno ba no mpe baby amobeda. Oh no abeka. You did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning. We are back from another weekend. It's just right that we bring you the latest in the world of sports. James Ohenba Makion joins me here. Makion, how are you? How was the weekend?
I'm good. It was an exciting sporting weekend.
Good. No, it's not a great sporting weekend. It was exciting.
Very, very exciting.
Okay.
Very, very exciting.
Today is 15th. How many days more do we have for the AFCON to begin?
Just some few days. It will be played on the 21st. So
6
this
days.
Weekend, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Saturday,
nice,
the first game.
The first game is on Saturday.
Yeah, Morocco. The opening ceremony too is on Saturday. So this week is just AFCON stuff.
Okay. But you said it was an exciting,
very exciting one.
Sporting weekend. What happened during the weekend?
A lot of things happened. First of all, let's start from the Black Galaxies. Remember, South Africa are going to feature in the World Cup as preparations towards the AFCON. They are in the same group with Zambia, Zimbabwe, and also Egypt. And Angola. And as part of that, they rode to the Ghana FA to play against the Black Stars of Ghana. But obviously, they won't get the Black Stars. So it is the Black Galaxies that are going to feature against them in the pre-AFCON friendly. So yesterday, the Black Galaxies arrived in Soweto. And when they arrived, they also had their first training in Soweto. So that game comes off tomorrow in South Africa, where South Africa will use that as a preparatory game for the AFCON 2025 that will be staged in Morocco. After the game, South Africa will fly to Morocco to play the tournament.
But for those who are not familiar with Black Galaxy, who are Black Galaxies?
So the Black Galaxies are the local based players.
Okay.
Yes, so they normally feature in the CHAN tournament. So the CHAN tournament is a sort of an AFCON for
local based players
across Africa. So for the Ghana squad,
but then, sorry, for a country like South Africa that has almost all of their players as local players, the same players play CHAN and play AFCON. Interesting.
So they are trying to test their pulse against Ghana because in their group they have Angola who play similarly like Ghana. They also have Zimbabwe also in their group. So with that particular team that are currently in South Africa, most of the local based players that are most of the time scored to the Black Stars are in that team, apart from Benjamin Asare. but most of the local players in recent times who have been called to the main Black Stars team are in that team. So they also have the experience, the likes of Prince Owusu, Isaac Afo, Kelvin and Chroma, who also recently called. All of these players are in there. So tomorrow at 2 p.m. we see how that game goes, whether the Black Galaxies of Ghana can continue or can even go on to beat the Bafana of South Africa. But from some national team issues, let's do the Ghana Premier League. And yesterday and also this weekend, some games came up in the Ghana Premier League. Accra Folk won their game, and also Kumasi Asante Kotoko also won. So on Saturday, Folk beat Nations FC by a goal to nil. That's the 30 December footy that's currently ongoing. Let me bring you up to speed for some of the results. And on Friday, to House of Lions went on to win that game, or they lost to Ediana Stars in that particular game. Then on Sunday, Kumasi Asante Kotoko beat Dreams FC by just a goal in the Ghana Premier League. Kwame Opoko returning with a goal. Between United also beat 11 Wonders by just a goal. Sojura Blacks beat Vision Football Clubs by 2-0. Basake Holy Stars beat FC Samatex 1996 by 2-0. Brekum Chelsea, without their head coach, who is currently in South Africa with the Black Galaxies coach, went on to beat Oho United by just a goal. And Young Apostles also beat Karela United. So yesterday, all the home teams won their game at home. So that's how it's looking like when we come to the teams that are leading the table. So this is how the table looks like. Ediana Football Club are on top of the league log with 27 points after winning their game. Midiama, because Midiama has about 6 players in the Black Galaxy squad, they didn't play yesterday, so that game has been postponed. But currently they are second with 26 points. Asante Kotoko are fourth with 24 points. House of Folk are also fourth with 24 points. When you go to the bottom of the league table, Dreams FC are 16th with 14 points. Between United are 17th with 13 points, and 11 Wonders are 18th with just 6 points in the Ghana Premier League. So that's how the Ghana Premier League ended over the weekend. And today there will not be any games played, but just that Midiama's game has been postponed because they have about 6 of their players in the Black Galaxy squad.
That's good for them, for most of their players to be featuring in this
squad. In recent times, most of their players, even in the main Black Stars team, most of their players are featured for the Black Stars team. But a lot of people too have another school of ideas, is that because their owner Moses Amapaka is part of the GFAS school, so definitely most of their players are going to be in there. That's another school of thoughts. We don't know whether that's true, but however, for me personally, I think that they have some quality players in there who are doing so well. But from the Ghana Premier League, let's move on to the English Premier League, where a lot of exciting things happened. Arsenal failed to score a goal, but then they won their game. How is that possible? You see, you're confused. Arsenal failed to score a goal, but they won their game. Who scored 2 own goals?
Are you kidding? Are you for real?
Yeah, so who scored 2 own goals? It was a difficult game for Arsenal, I must say, but 2 own goals.
How is it a difficult game for you if your opponent is scoring